Hey guys, I just want to capture my thoughts a little bit for the moment. I just paused watching Nerdword Entertainment's video complaining about Sonic Mania is a rehash and too nostalgia pandering. I feel like I have to say this. You are aware that the 2D style of gaming is going to be nostalgic anyway because it's going back to an era where not only one Sonic was at his most popular, but it was also a style of gaming that everybody could get on board with. So, and I know what he's talking about with regards to what he claims is rehashes of classic stages. First of all, these are reimagined stages. There are plenty of elements to make it feel like it's the same zone from before. But this is where Christian Whitehead and Headcanon have been so clever. They actually make additions to these stages. I mean, we've seen the playthrough of Green Hill Zone at San Diego Comic Con of what people can expect. That think of it as Green Hill Zone with DLC, for lack of a better description. A rehash would imply that it's the same thing over, but they've added stuff to it. So how is that a rehash when it's actually making it familiar yet fresh? And one of these comments here, I like this comment from Kane Gaming. Quote, I'm probably going to get tons of hate for this, but I need to address some things that nobody in the Sonic fandom really understands. 1. Rehash means the exact same thing with little to no changes, as I just mentioned. Sonic Mania's remastered stages and Sonic Generations stages are not rehashes. They're exactly what the trailer made them out to be. Reimaginings with so much new things that they could be barely recognizable. Besides, other reimagined stages are not going to be much more polished than Green Hill, which really says something, judging by Taxman's recent tweet. Too much Green Hill is not a very valid argument in my eyes. I haven't seen the rest of the video because, no disrespect to Nerdword, but he comes across as a little bit overzealous. That's not a knock per se. It's more of an objective observation, for a lack of a better description. Right. But I don't see the other 1,000 Green Hill hashes you people are talking about besides the spin-offs and mobile games. 3. Nostalgia pandering is a marketing trend every media company is flocking to currently. He's not wrong. I mean, just look at the ton of attention Back to the Future got last year for when it got to October 21, 2015. Throughout the whole day, you couldn't get away from Back to the Future. With David Cameron talking about it in Parliament. And of course the marathon of all 3 movies on ITV2, which started at 4:29 in the afternoon, at which I will give ITV credit. That's attention to detail. But Back to the Future was everywhere, from Pizza Hut to Pepsi Perfect to Toyota with the Toyota Mirai. I don't think it's necessarily nostalgia pandering. I think it's more to the point of they're referencing things in entertainment, whether it be music, TV, movies, or in this case video games, where the emphasis was to focus on better quality with what they had, what they didn't have. It's a case of, I think someone said something to the effect of, when they were doing like this showcase thing for different games at these expos, I think it was early '91, where they said, the new Super Mario World on the Super Nintendo has like 124, 28 color graphics to work from, whereas Sonic 1 had only something like 32. But the guy said, it's not the amount of colors that you have, it's what you can do with them. And when you look at how movies, TV, and video games were, they had to work with what they had. But that's where you can be somewhat more creative. You think, I've only got this to work with. How can I stretch the creativity without stretching the budget? Whereas now, we have this sense of, well, we have all this money. How better can we make the graphics, or how better can we make the CG, and the ones fly everywhere. I love Razor Fist. But yeah, it's going back to where people have fond memories of this nostalgia. And as I said, we look at things like Back to the Future trilogy because it still holds up, and including the old school Sonic games on the Mega Drive from back in the day, because people have such fond memories of it. They go back to it now, and it's exactly as they remember it. So to follow on, look at companies like Nickelodeon or Sony or Nintendo, a lot of things, and it was successful, as well as Sonic Generation sales are pretty huge. So can you really blame Sega for hopping on a money bandwagon they created? Soon it'll settle down like most marketing trends. Sure, it doesn't mean Sega will never make a Sonic level again, but they'll tone it down once this trend ends. And his fourth and final point, targeted directly at Nerdword, you're taking this way too seriously. I know you're mad, but really, does yelling into a mic and making a very clickbaitish thumbnail, in his word, and he puts in brackets, at least in my eyes, enforce your opinion? No, I don't really expect much from a guy who overreacts to everything in his epic videos, reaction videos. But the fourth one, I have seen some of Nerdword's videos before. He does tend to go a little bit over the top with his reactions. I think his reactions to Sonic Mania. Now, to be fair, this is where I'm not going to be overcritical with his reaction, because we all had the same reaction when we saw the trailer for Mania, and we're like, oh, okay, this looks inviting. But to the point where he's saying, as Sonic Mania is a rehash. Let me address this. We're being given a 2D styled Sonic game, a new 2D styled Sonic game for a new generation, with people working on it that actually understand the physics and the engine to play exactly like the originals, but without the frame rate issues. A late relative said to me once back in the day, when it's a good thing, we don't question it. Wise lady. I don't really see the hustle and bustle of why people are complaining, oh, we're having too many classic stages. It's like, they told you in the trailer, reimagine classics. There will be new stages, but these are reimagined classics. This is not going to be the Green Hill Zone that you remember. This is probably not going to be the Spring Yard Zone that you remember, or even Starlight Zone. And if T-Lopes' Starlight Zone score from 2012 is in there, that'll be so boss. But I can understand Nerdword's concerns, but I just think he's blowing things out of proportion. That's just me, though. Like I say, I didn't watch the rest of the video because I got to about 2:45 and I just felt like he was splitting hairs for the sake of. Should I have continued watching the video through? Probably, but I'm just going to leave this alone because, yeah, I just got to that point where it's like, you know what, you're just splitting hairs for the sake of splitting hairs, dude. I'm sorry, but I don't need that. Anyway, this is MJ Knight signing off. Good night from the night.